And recording. Playoffs, you say. Playoffs. Anyway, I'm going to try to quickly flip out a playoff series here. 78 World Hockey Association again. The Winnipeg Jets, they will have home ice advantage, meaning they will have home ice for games 1 and 3, game 5 if necessary. This is going to be a best-of-5 series between the Winnipeg Jets and the Quebec Nordiques. Something I might do here, just get things ready preliminarily, if that's even a word, is just kind of set it up here like this. A lot of copy and paste. So Winnipeg, Quebec, and then we'll go with something like round 1, I guess 78. I can keep the 78 WHA playoffs. Of course, this is my replay of them. Round 1. I'm just doing semifinals and final here. So something like that for right now for the time being, and I might not get too statsy in this one. Might just go back and play this back and listen to it and after the fact, because I do want this to be a quicker video, quicker go through. Let's see, just double checking there. It is recording. So, okay. All right, I think I've shuffled enough. I guess one other thing that I need to do, I have random number 58 came up first. 58 will actually, double checking here, 58 is going to give the start, although I usually go visitor left side, home right side. So 58, I might override it with an executive decision here and have Richard Brodeur, who is just 40% for Quebec. I think I will. Yeah, I'm going to have Richard Brodeur for Quebec. And although Bromley and Daly have done things pretty 50-50, Daly actually sort of usurped Bromley for the starters crease mid-season for this shortened regular season replay. But Daly had a few bad games toward the end, and so the starters role kind of went back to Bromley. With that said, let's flip it out here. So 46, that indeed will be Bromley, who actually is only 47 or lower. So it was almost Daly. I think I've shuffled these enough, and with the initial possession here, it is the Winnipeg Jets. The Winnipeg Jets unable to create anything with that. Ted Green unable to find anyone open in the slot with a chance to score, where it goes back the other way. Queen 10, Serge Bernier. Bernier, he's jokered out with Quebec being on the road here in game 1, so 5 minutes in now. And it's Quebec maintaining possession. Quebec here, Paul Baxter. Baxter automatically through to Tardif. He needs a 6, or I mean a 5 rather, and he gets a 6. So Tardif, the leading scorer for this, from Paul Baxter, and the Queen of Hearts for the secondary assist is actually Baxter as well. Since he can't assist twice in the goal, we're going to give Tardif here, who led the league in scoring, goal scoring as well, not just point scoring, with 32, and that is a lone assist goal there from Paul Baxter. And I think I'll just note the one there. I realize these goalie stats are incomplete, but I will note here that Bromley and Brodeur at least started this game, and this game is 1-0 Quebec. So 7-4 at the same time. It's not anything happening there. And it's Quebec getting all the high cards, getting the good possession here. Réal Cloutier, he gets it to Warren Miller. And Miller with the red jack going back to Bromley. Bromley will be able to make the save. So 12.5 minutes in, now up to 15. Where Réal Cloutier, again this time, he goes to Pauline Bordelot. Bordelot with the 7, and we have a 2-0 Quebec hockey game. And now something I wanted to say off the hop about P-Jet and predicting that the Nordiques would upset in 5. Well, there is still a lot of hockey to be played in this, but they're certainly not hurting themselves with that start. Just double checking here, that was Cloutier starting off the play to Pauline Bordelot, and I guess I don't have a secondary assist yet. I was trying to think about who it was, but I had yet to flip for it. Pauline Bordelot can't get 2 points on the goal. Cloutier will pick up a point there for the assist on the goal. 2-0 Quebec. 15 minutes in here to the first. We're in 9-2. That's just going to be a canceled out play. Because I want to do up to 5 games, I'm going to try to talk my way a little more quickly through this one. Where Joker 8, Ulf Nelson. Nelson feeds it on through to Dave Kriskow. And he fans in the shot, breaks his stick, and that is the end of the first period. So fans on the shot or breaks his stick or something like that. Make sure that we shuffle it good here. Give it the good Jester shuffle. The Jester shuffle. ID Shuffler. ID Jester. If you want to see somebody who can do a mean click and a mean shuffle and a mean click on a die roller app, that's your guy. Anyway, Ulf Nelson here to start things off. In the second period, it's Nelson on to Hedberg, and that's basically a guarantee. So Winnipeg has woken up here in period 2 after it being 2-0 Quebec following the first period, and Willie Lindstrom there. So that is Hedberg. again, somewhat appropriately getting the first. And then Nelson, who missed out on that scoring title by just 1 point. And Willie Lindstrom there, he finished top 5 Winnipeg scoring in real life and in my replay. And he picks up a point here. So 2.5 minutes into the second period, and Jack for, let's see, LaRiviere, that's just 1 out of his range. So to 7.5 minutes we go here. King and Joker, that is the Golden Jet. Bobby Hull getting into the Golden Jet. Bobby Hull solo effort. He only needs a 2. He gets a 3, so that just barely trickles by Richard Brodeur. And Kent Nelson's going to pick up the assist there on Bobby Hull's goal. Bobby Hull has tied this game at 2. Bobby Hull from Kent Nelson, I guess I could see. Actually, no, there won't be a secondary helper because that was Hull from Hull and Kent Nelson. That was Bobby Hull. Showing the Golden Jet, showing he still has his legs under him and going almost end-to-end with that, but for the feed from Kent Nelson. Anyway, with the 10-8 here, that is Peter Sullivan. Peter Sullivan gets it to Dan LeBrayton with the 5. LeBrayton needed a 7 in order to score halfway through regulation, where sudden death here is a possibility. The game is knotted at 2. 5 and 9, so that's going to be Bobby Guindon feeding it to Bobby Guindon. Another solo effort here in Guindon with the guarantee. The Jets have taken a 3-2 lead here in this period, so something feels a little off about this. What does? What is it here? No, I guess the Jet... Yeah, Quebec hasn't actually... Sorry, for some reason there, a blip. I thought that Quebec had actually scored. But no, Bobby Guindon. So it's been 3 unanswered goals from the Jets. Bobby Guindon from Ulf Nelson, that one. So Nelson here getting another point. He had 42 assists, did lead the league in the 28-game regular season portion. And that doesn't feel like enough assists. But I guess if you have 2 one-assist goals, or a few one-assist goals there in the mix. So Guindon there from Ulf Nelson. 3-2 Winnipeg. And Quebec finally with a possession here. They've been getting outplayed this period. But that is Tardif, who only needs the 6. Even when the 4 comes up to get it through to 3 and 7. 3 and 7, that's Cloutier. So lower on the card, hindered, covered, manned, no problem. It is the dynamic duo there for the Quebec Nordiques, Cloutier from Tardif. And we'll see who is the third man along for the ride. Tardif, actually. So I've heard Tardif and I've heard Tardif. I think that it's probably the latter. So he's up to 2 points now. Cloutier has a goal to go with his assist, also with 2 points here in this first game of the series. 5 minutes to go here in period 2. 6 and 8. So that's going to be Barry Long. Barry Long ushers it through to the 3 and the Queen. We come over. Brodeur will surrender on a Queen. So that's Anders Hedberg taking the lead as quickly as Quebec lost it, or as Winnipeg lost it, I mean. And again, that was Barry Long, and the secondary assist is going to go to Ulf Nelson. So Hedberg with another on the board there. Hedberg, 2 goals now in the game. Ulf Nelson, 3 points in the game. And Barry Long picking up a point there also. And so this is getting a bit messy. Let's see, 7 sequences, 1 to go. Where it's going to be the Nordiques, Rio Cloutier with a 10. That's going to be through automatically to Serge Bernier. Bernier misfires, similar to the end of the first period, I remember as well. We had somebody just kind of fanning on their shot there. So after 40 minutes of play, and it's pretty idiot-proof if you're doing it this way, the Jets have put up 4 by my calculations versus the Nordiques 3. So 4-3 Winnipeg after 2. Here for the third period, where it's going to be the Jets with possession. Nelson unable to set up anyone there. To the 5-minute mark we go. It is going to be Quebec here. 5-3, nothing done there. And to the 7.5-minute mark now. 9 and King. So that's going to be Lars-Erik Sjoberg. Sjoberg shovels it on through to 8 and 8. I'm pretty sure Dave Kriskow has just scored. The Jets are up by 2. Dave Kriskow from Lars-Erik Sjoberg and Peter Sullivan. So Kriskow, back to the Jets we go here. Kriskow from Sjoberg. That'll be his first point. And Peter Sullivan with his first also. Okay. So just 12.5 minutes to go here, and the Jets up by a pair. 3 and 7 though for Quebec. Cloutier needs an 8 actually for the feed and fire. So it's going to be the Nordiques team player this time. We're going to say LaRiviere. LaRiviere with the 9. He sets up. Let's see here. Fitchner wide open. Fitchner with the 5, just wide of the net. So now it's ace Ulf Nelson. Ulf Nelson through to Queen. That's Kent Nelson. Nelson to Nelson, and some Nelson on Nelson action. Nelson to Nelson action. They've scored here. Kent Nelson actually the secondary helper. So that was, had there been a third Nelson on the team, I really think that would have been the case. And just confirming there, it was Kent that got the goal. And then Alf with his 4th point in the game, all of them helpers. And so that's 6-3. So I'm pretty sure this is game at this point. Winnipeg here, team player Moff. We're going to say Runke, so I can remember how to say his name. Kent Runke, and that will foil the limited Quebec defense. Look at this, Runke to Hedberg for the hat-trick go. But Richard Brodeur will make the save there. I think they would have kept him Brodeur. I mean, Quebec got a few good hits in there, a few good goals in there themselves. King and 5, so it's going to be the old and golden Jet Bobby Hull. He gets it onto 6. Peter Sullivan with a 6, and that's going to be just shy. But speaking of 6, Winnipeg has put up 6 goals in game 1. Quebec got off to a good start. They were up 2-0 after the first period of play, but getting 5 goals in the next 6 was Winnipeg. And was it really just Cloutier and Tardif setting one another up in Baxter? Was there no other? Bordelot had the goal. Was there no one else? If there was, then I missed them. Maybe I missed an assist. They went back and realized that such and such player didn't touch it. So I'm probably going to keep this real simple here. Let me see what can I do here. Let's we'll do a little copy paste, my favorite. So game 1, we'll say, maybe take away the underline here. So game 1, and basically it's maybe I can put Winnipeg on the other side being at home. So we'll say Quebec 3. Whoops. I should be able to split the logos. Huh. I was used to be able to. Well, I'm going to pause this recording if I can, if I really can. There we go. Okay. Whoops. No. That took so long to do. Okay. Anyway. Sorry. There we go. So a little delay of game there. And we're going to get another one because I can't. Okay. Finally. So Quebec 3 at Winnipeg. Yeah, at Winnipeg 6. And we'll change that 3 to a 6. And that's all I'm going to do here for that. And once you have it done right the first time, it's a lot easier to do it each ensuing time. So game 2. I do have to get through these playoffs in a hurry if I'm going to be ready in time for the start of the NHL season, by which I'm not even referring to the 2022-23 NHL season, but rather the 1948-49 NHL season. Let's see if the Nordiques are helped at home. They were jokered out on one potential scoring play, as I recall, there in the first period, and through one game of play here, that is 12 minutes and 47 seconds, I think I can go faster for the next few. And this series might be over in 3 games. This is just a best of 5. We're the Queen 5 to start us off there. Kent Nelson, 2.5 minutes in here. Kent Nelson had a good game last game. On to the King, and Kent Nelson to Bobby Hull. I didn't even get starting goalies for this one. I should do that real quickly, actually. Quebec might go with their backup at Le Colisée. So Bromley again and Brodeur. So that would foil Brodeur. It actually, either Quebec goalie would surrender that, any of the Quebec goalies. So again, that is going to be, in this case, King and Queen. So yeah, Kent Nelson through to Brett Hull. Is that what? Hold on now. Yeah, Kent Nelson, 5. He fed it through. Was it to Bobby Hull? I said Brett Hull again. I do that way too damn much. Okay, I'm gonna have to play this back. I'm gonna say that Bobby Hull touched it, and then Kent Nelson picked up a helper on it. So Hull with another goal, and then Nelson. And maybe we're awarding Bobby Hull a point that he didn't deserve. A jack of clubs on the Winnipeg Jets equates to done. Equates to, where is he? Where is he? Huh? Dunn. Oh, there he is, Dave Dunn. Whoops, I'm looking at regular season as well. Okay, so I hope that's all correct. Copacetic. They're showing 8. Wait, that's not. 8 playoff goals. No, that's not. Oh, because he needs an assist. Wow. Okay, when the camera's on, right? So Queen 7 here, trying to get back into it. It's Quebec and Serge Bernier. Bernier onto the 4 and the Joker. So that will benefit Quebec. That's going to be Tardif, because who other? And who else? And Diamond 9, Matty Hagman. So Tardif there for the Nordiques. Will pick up his 2nd goal of this postseason. Only 2 so far for him. from, was it La Riviere? Wasn't La Riviere? No, Queen 7. It was Bernier. That's right. Bernier and Hagman. Bernier and Hagman. Bernier and Hagman. And it is, make sure again that it's only showing one goal for the Jets. Okay, so we have a 1-1 game 5 minutes into it. This is kind of more like what I was expecting from a series like this. Just goals, more goals, more goals. So this time it's Bobby Hull. Bobby Hull sets up Willie Lindstrom, and Lindstrom scores as well from Bobby Hull and Bergman, Tommy Bergman. So Lindstrom, Willie got a goal now to go with the assist. Hull finally has an assist. And Bergman is right here with his first point of the series. So goals in every sequence so far. Let's see if we can keep that up. 10-6, Sullivan says, yeah, maybe. And that goes to Bill Lessick, we will say. And with the ace, that's an automatic goal. Okay, so Lessick from Sullivan. And Hearts is going to be Nelson, of course. So Bill Lessick from Peter Sullivan. And Ulf Nelson now up to 5 assists. And just like that, it is 3-1 Winnipeg. Goal, 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 goal. And 7 in Queen. But you need Red Queens, actually. Red Queens only will fool the Winnipeg defense. So now we're headed to 15 minutes into it, where finally we have a failed sequence. I remember Ted Green started off similarly in Game 1 with something like that. And so 17 and a half minutes now. And on to the 20-minute mark with Ace and Joker, and suddenly I have fears that maybe I accidentally only played 2 periods the game prior. I'm pretty sure it was 3. But through 1 period here for Game 2, it is 3-1 Winnipeg. I mean, I can always double check my math here, but yeah, Quebec 4 goals, and the Winnipeg Jets 9 goals, so 3-1 Winnipeg after 1. I don't think I need to keep track by period. I'll just keep reminding myself that it's 3-1 Winnipeg after 1 here in Game 2. And with the Queen, it's going to be the Nordiques off the hop here. Queen 9, the Jets rather, because they're on the road. Whoops. So Queen 9, that is Kent Nelson. Kent Nelson, he sets up for the ace and the goal. It's Dan LeBrayton and Ulf Nelson, of course. So LeBrayton from Nelson and Nelson. LeBrayton, he was close in Game 1. He finally gets one here. Ulf Nelson up to 6 assists. Kent Nelson up to 4 points, getting points at a better clip than he did during the regular season portion, where it was somewhat disappointing for him. Let's see our second consecutive goal. This one could be a Nordiques goal that falls to a Nordiques team player from Norm Dubé. And we'll say Dubé and Gary Lariviere. Lariviere with the 3, that's not going to work out. So on to 7.5 minutes now, where Queen 9, Serge Bernier is going to get it too. Serge Bernier with a 4, but he needs a 5. Oh, so close there for the Quebec Nordiques, but at least they're maintaining possession. Tardif with the 10 automatically through to Norm Dubé. Dubé! Oh, and he needs, 2 is just not good. So Dubé, he's unable to score there. And maybe Bromley just made that look like a difficult save. Hedberg's going to get it through to LeBrayton, looking for his second goal, but Kings and Queens only. I'm Richard Brodeur. So we have just 1 goal in the period so far, where 3 in Queen, Quebec, and Real Cloutier are going to see if they can do something about that. Dubé with another chance in the 6, but he needs an 8. Why do they keep passing the puck to him? So 10 and ace, it's going to be J.C. Tremblay. He's certainly through. Queen, Pauline Bordelot. There you go, Bordelot, who was a sniper, a shark, certainly early in the campaign. He's picked up his second here, and that was J.C. Tremblay picking up the primary. I don't think I flipped for a secondary. I didn't. So 8 of hearts on Quebec is Norm Dubé. So they were expecting Dubé to shoot again, and Bromley was hoodwinked. It's 10 and king. That's Tremblay again, right? Because Tremblay started off that sequence. Yep. So Tremblay again now looking for some more. And team player, anybody in Quebec, let's give that to, I'll say Christian Bordelot. Bordelot with the king. Okay, Christian Bordelot with the king from J.C. Tremblay, and Tremblay again. So just 1 assist on that goal. We've had a lot of those, but this is going to be Christian Bordelot, not Pauline, and J.C. Tremblay. Let's see here, another assist for him. So Quebec has 3 goals in this game. The Jets have 4 goals in this game. This is suddenly a close game, and that's the tail end of 2 periods. So it's a 1-goal game here headed into the 3rd period. Winnipeg goes up 2-0 in the series if they manage to remain ahead after this. after these next 8 play sequences. And Quebec off to the right start. Possession, Tardif ace automatically through onto Riel Cloutier. And that could be a done deal. Kings and Red Queens and Gary Bromley. Yes, it is. We have a tie game. So Serge Bernier picking up the secondary there. So basically Quebec's top 3 all in on this goal. Cloutier with the goal. Tardif with the... Cloutier only had 2 points. Well, now he's got 3. And Tardif with the helper and Bernier as well, picking up his second point, where given his involvement, seems like he should have more than just a couple of assists so far. King and 3 means Cloutier. Quebec now with a chance to take the lead all of a sudden in 7 and 6. Fitchner misses out by 2 there. So save there for Gary Bromley. 8 and Queen, but only Red Queens will work on the Jets blue line. So 10 minutes to go here in the game, just about 7 and Queen. That is going to be Tommy Bergman getting it by the lesser Nordiques defense. Bergman on to Dave Kriskow, who scored earlier in the game, but he's not going to get one here. And 8 and 9 for Matty Hagman, back the other way for the Nordiques. Hagman on to 4. Tardif needs 5 or greater, and he gets 5 exactly. So Tardif here, 5 from... Did I say it was Matty Hagman? Matty Hagman, Tardif from Matty Hagman, and the 7 of hearts is Tardif again. So we're just going to say Tardif here with his 3rd goal. Hagman picking up another point here. And Quebec, that's 5 against the Jets. 4. Why do I... Yeah, no, right, they were down by 1. Okay, so now they're up by 1. Quebec, and they're maintaining possession here. 5 minutes to go. 4 ace, 2 team players. So Tardif on through to Warren Miller. Miller with the joker. That's an automatic goal. Warren Miller. Warren Miller has put the Nordiques up by 2 here. Warren Miller from Tardif. And secondary assist, if there is one there. King of Hearts, there is actually. Steve Sutherland getting his first point here of the series and playoffs. So 2 more play sequences. It's the Jets, and they spoil it. So Quebec has 1, and maybe just icing on the cake here at Le Colisée. It is Tardif looking for another point. He's looking to set up Cloutier, his main hired gun, and he is on the mark here again. Cloutier scores from Tardif and Dubé. Dubé picking up another point there. So Cloutier now 3 goals in this. Tardif up to 7 points in 2 games. No surprise there, I was about to say. And 9 of hearts. Again, that equates to Norm Dubé with now 2 assists. 2 points, both of them assists. There you have it. Yeah, that is 8 sequences there for period 3. So we have a series that's knotted at 1. Final score there, I can do simple math. So Quebec 10, that means they scored 7 times in the game. And the Winnipeg Jets there with 10 means they scored 4 times in the game. So that would make the final score here 7-4. And on to game 3 we go, and we alternate home and away. So we're going back to Winnipeg, see if we can get another 6-3 final score here back in Winnipeg, back in Manitoba. Make sure those are really shuffled well. I guess we could do a random here. Let's see, 12. So that would be Richard Brodeur again for Quebec. And why not? He picked up the winning game too, even though he surrendered 4. I guess that's another thing I could do here just for the heck of it. So it was Bromley in both games. 5.5 goals against average now. No, goals against average. Do they both have goals against averages of 5? Yes, they do. Fantastic. Fantastic. So goals against 10. There were no empty netters. Goals against average 5. I know they might have left the net a little and really only, like, say, in a delayed penalty or something like that, and really only been in the goal for 59 minutes and change. But anyway, or even 58 minutes and change. And I guess the record as well, I could update it there. 1-1 for Bromley. And just to immerse oneself. I changed that to 2 games, and so 10. So, in other words, this has been a very evenly contested series so far. And yes, I was slack at season's end with goalie stats updates because they're pretty meaningless in World Hockey Association. But this is playoffs, so. Starting things off here in Game 3 is Quebec, where they started well in Game 1 in Winnipeg. Started well. But it's going to be Winnipeg's first possession after that failed. King and 10 means Bobby Hull, almost said Brett again. Bobby Hull onto Anders Hedberg and the Queen. That will solve Richard Brodeur. So Anders Hedberg from Bobby Hull Should get the secondary assist, though, before I click over. Hedberg from Hall and Bobby Guindon. So Hedberg from a couple of Bobbies. Hedberg, that's his third now. And Bobby Hall with 2 goals and 4 points. And Bobby Guindon with his second point here of the playoffs. And it's 1-0 Winnipeg. Winnipeg here. Jack and Ace, they're just going to keep the pressure on now. Hedberg's going to give it to somebody else for once. A 7-7 LeBrayton has scored from Hedberg. And the Jack of Clubs is Dunn. So Dave Dunn, took me a while to find him last time. Hedberg, he's a little easier to find. And LeBrayton, for him, that's goal number 2. Almost had a couple last game. Now he's up to a couple. So to the 10-minute mark here we go. 4-6 for Quebec. Got to double check because that is Tardif. And Tardif will get it to 5-6. But Jean Bernier, is not going to be able to rifle it in from the point from there. So Queen this time. Queen and King. 12.5 minutes in now. Queen and King. We have Kent Nelson. Kent Nelson goes to 5. 5 is Ken Baird. Baird misses. Baird misfires. So 8-8 here. Jets maintaining, keeping it up. Willie Lindstrom. Lindstrom will get it to 6. Peter Sullivan and Peter Sullivan also. So some failed chances here for Winnipeg. Those are almost rare in this. But Queen 7 back the other way for Quebec. Serge Bernier. Bernier on to Hagman. This is Quebec's best chance so far. The frame. And Hagman misfires. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it will be a Jets possession here to finish things off in period 1. 9 ace. It is Schoberg. Schoberg gets it to Bobby Guindon. And Guindon with the 3 as well. So they were 10-10 after 2 games, so just confirming here, 2 for the Jets and none for the Nordiques through 1 period of play. And in the second period, it's the Nordiques starting off. Aiton King will succeed against the Winnipeg blue line. Matty Hagman on to a Quebec Nordiques team player. Hagman gets it to, we're going to say Warren Miller again. And Miller with the 5. That's not going to work, actually. So here, Quebec, though, they're able to keep the puck. 5 ace. That is going to be Bob Fitchner. Fitchner gets it to Riel Cloutier. And double checking on Gary Bromley. Only Red Queens. Bromley with a huge save. So 7.5 minutes now into period 2 we go. And they're on their feet in Winnipeg. 4-1 Gary Bromley. And the Jets trying to just keep it 200 feet away from their own net now, where Queen and Joker Kent Nelson gets it to Dave Kriskow. Kriskow with the goal. 3-0 here for Winnipeg. And the heart, that's going to be Tommy Bergman picking up the secondary helper. And I did say Kent Nelson started us off there. So Kriskow from Kent Nelson and Tommy Bergman. Kriskow from Kent Nelson. Kriskow from Kent Nelson. Nelson up to 5 points now. And Tommy Bergman, that's going to be 2 for him. Okay, so 3-0 Winnipeg. Why does that show? King and Queen, that's right. The big save for Bromley there. Yes, okay. So 12.5 here up to the 12.5 mark, the 7 and the 6. Dubé will be able to make a play, and he gets it to Tardif, which is basically a guaranteed goal, including here. Jack of Clubs, that's Pauline Bordelot. So Dubé and Pauline Bordelot. I guess it doesn't really matter in which order I update them over here. Dubé now with 3 helpers. And that was 12.5 in, so Quebec finally in this game. And they're looking to be in it a little further here. Cloutier gets it to Warren Miller. Warren Miller with the 2, though. He shanks it. So 5 minutes rather to go here. 9 and Jack. That's not going to solve that Winnipeg defense. That's somewhat surprisingly stalwart. I don't think of them as being on New England's level, but they kind of are. For the defense, we're going to give that to Lyle Moffat. Lyle Moffat with the 8 Winnipeg team successful play. Moffat to another team player. Is it Moffat? It kind of is. So Lyle Moffat's solo effort looking to be the hero, and he ran out of steam at period's end. He saw that the clock was running down. He had no one to pass it to. He thought he'd just go for it himself. But through 2 periods of play here in Game 3, Quebec has just put up the 1 goal, and Winnipeg, by my count, has also only put up 1 goal, just 3 of them. So this is surprisingly tight after 2. So 9 and Queen to start things off here. That will actually. So Jean Bernier, he's fed it to Mark Tardif with the 5, and that's all that he needs. Tardif now has goal number 5 in this. And the 8 of diamonds is Matty Hagman. So Tardif this time with his 5th goal from a different Bernier, that's his first point in the postseason. And Matty Hagman picking up another helper. So this is a 1-goal game. Winnipeg and Ulf Nilsson going to see what they can do about that. Tired of these shenanigans. They get it to Willie Lindstrom. Lindstrom with a 5, yes. So The Jets have indeed restored what I believe is a 2-goal lead here now. Willie Lindstrom from Ulf Nilsson and Kent Nilsson. So Lindstrom from here and Nilsson there and Nilsson. Willie Lindstrom there, that's his 2nd goal. And Nilsson, 7 points, all of them assists. Second to Tardif, though, in point scoring. And Kent Nilsson not doing too bad in his own right there with 6. Again, much better points per game than he had during the regular season portion, where he finished actually just under a point per game. In real life, Nilsson had a 100-point season in the World Hockey Association in '78, and he had at least one of them in the National Hockey League in the '80s as well. So Anders Hedberg, Nilsson for the Calgary Flames, he did. Hedberg through to, that's going to go through to Hedberg himself, but the blackjack. I'm not injuring anybody, but that is a Richard Brodeur save, king and 7. Brodeur keeping it close, but that's going on to Hedberg. Hedberg from Bobby Hall. Good night. So Hedberg from Bobby Hall, and just Hedberg from Bobby Hall, actually. Hedberg picking up his 4th. Hall also now up to 5 points. Good for the veteran. 10 minutes to go in the game, Quebec. Let's see if they can make... Oh, Tremblay needed a 6. J.C. Tremblay needed a 6. 3 and King, so back the other way, the Jets and Ulf Nilsson. Nilsson through to the team player, to King. Nilsson to Lars-Erik Sjoberg. And Sjoberg there with the 7 of diamonds. So that's going to be a goal for Sjoberg. Sjoberg from Ulf Nilsson. Hold on now. Sjoberg from Ulf Nilsson. I combined their names there. And Lessig. Sjoberg from Sjoberg. Goodness, I can't even see his name. Goal for the defenseman from Ulf Nilsson, of course. 8 assists now. And Bill Lessig. That could be game. But let's see. 4, 5, 6. And this has to be 7, right? 1, 2, 3. No, that's 6. No. 5 minutes to go. Glad I double checked. 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes to go. And the Jets now have put up 6 goals to 2 for the Nordiques. Really? Wow. Good thing that I keep track that way. And that happens to me sometimes, actually, when I play it this way. Ace and 2, so Tardif will get it as if it matters. Now Tardif's going to get it to the Queen. And Pauline Bordeleau, it's just meaningless at this point, kind of, in terms of the game. But the Bordeleaus, Christian and getting the assist, and Tardif getting an assist. So he's up to 10 points now, and Pauline Bordeleau with the goal there for Quebec on the road. So that means 4-7, one more. Final sequence here. Quebec with the Queen. They can't penetrate the Winnipeg defense with that. So double checking here. So we're up to 13 goals. Quebec puts up 3 in the game, but Winnipeg at 16, they put up 6 in the game. So that is the score we had in game. So look, I didn't even have to change anything. This is all the same. Game 3, 6-3 for Winnipeg. Winnipeg up 2-1 in the series. So far, the home teams have won out, and that could benefit Quebec here. I didn't even have coffee with me for this. I'm trying to cut back on that just a little bit. So Game 4 now, it is Winnipeg and Quebec. Might need to go and get some water or something, but we'll see if we can get through this series at least. Probably save the other semi for a while. And I don't plan on uploading this immediately either, because I just uploaded the Stone Cold Hockey game, so I'll probably hold on to this one. So for Game 4 here, again, I suppose I could, after some wins and losses, let's see, 41, that's still in Bromley's range. 75 is not in Brodeur's, however. Corsi or Broderick? I still want to give Quebec every chance to win. I will override that and say that Richard Brodeur will get this. It's playoffs, right? Teams usually, I'm not as sure about it in 78 in the World Hockey Association, but teams, at least thinking in terms of today, would ride a #1 goalie through. In fact, I would argue that Minnesota, who I was hoping for in the playoffs, the Minnesota Wild, should have given Cam Talbot, he should have gone in a little earlier than, I think he only played in the 6th and final game of that series. They should have given him at least 1 game prior to that before they fell. They were facing elimination when they went with Talbot. Anyway, 7 and ace here. 7 and ace means that the Nordiques, that's Norm Dubé, and the feed is on through to Pauline Bordeleau, who needs a 3, and they only had 2 there. So The Jack and 5, that is Gary Lariviere. Lariviere, he gets it to Jean Bernier. Bernier is going to score here for Quebec. And 9 of clubs, that is Tremblay. So Bernier from Lariviere and Tremblay. Right? Was that Serge Bernier? Serge Bernier, right? With the no. Jean Bernier. Jean Bernier. Glad that I double checked. Jean Bernier from Gary Lariviere and J.C. Tremblay. Jean Bernier from Gary Lariviere. Been talking for a while now. And J.C. Tremblay. Okay. Anyway, this is it's either done this game or the next game. I should be fine. So nothing doing there for the Winnipeg Jets. On to the 10-minute mark now, where 4 and ace. They'll be able to get something done here, perhaps to LeBrayton. LeBrayton scores and ties it here for the Winnipeg Jets, with Quebec facing elimination. So LeBrayton from 4 is that Ted Green finally making a play? Yes, it is. LeBrayton from Ted Green, and surprise, surprise, Ulf Nelson. LeBrayton, that's what his third. LeBrayton from Ted Green, finally picking up a point here in the postseason. Nelson now with 9 points, all of them assists. Again, Nelson led the league with 42 assists in 28 games. So the 3 and the 8 here. Cloutier on through for Quebec to Cloutier. Solo effort goal for Riel Cloutier. And the queen of clubs there, Jim Dory. Jim Dory for Quebec, getting a point. Lower on the roster he is. Had just 4 assists during the regular season. Cloutier is up to goal number 4. And it was a Cloutier solo effort, so just 1 assist on the goal. A lot of those so far in this playoff. 7 and Kings, so it is Quebec. Norm Dubé to 6. And Joker, so that's an automatic goal for Warren Miller from Norm Dubé. And King of Clubs, they don't have it, but Warren Miller here with his second goal. And Dubé, he's now up to 4 assists. And Quebec, again, if I do the quick math, let's see, 3, but then 7 for 10, and then 3 for 13. Quebec has 3 goals so far in this, so it's 3-1 Nordiques here. 3 of the first 4 goals have been Quebec here at home. And into the 7th of 8 sequences, Red Queen will penetrate the Jets defense. So that is Matty Hagman leading the play. Hagman 4 and 9, and Mark Tardif has scored for Matty Hagman. And the diamond is the Jack of Diamonds is Fitchner. So Tardif from Hagman and Fitchner. Tardif, that is his 6th. Hagman now up to 4 assists, and Bob Fitchner, didn't think he had a point, but he does now. He has one now. So still one more sequence to go here in the period as well, but it's going to be jacked out. Let's say instead of jokered out, jacked out. I'm not injuring anyone, as I've said before. Okay, so let's see. Full steam ahead with both rosters in 3 and 9. That is Ulf Nelson for the Winnipeg Jets. 4-1 Quebec after 1, right? It's 13-17. Yeah, 4-1 Quebec after 1. So here in the second period at Le Colisée, Nelson through to Bobby Hall. Pretty much a done deal. Bobby Hall has scored from Ulf Nelson to make this 2-goal game. And Nelson would assist twice on the goal if he could, but he can't. So Bobby Hall, his 3rd. Nelson with his 10th assist. So the second player here to double digits in points in the postseason. Queen and Joker, so that is Bernier getting it through to the team player, the king, Pauline Bordelot. Bordelot, let's see, we go back over to Bromley. Bromley has made the stop, and he freezes it. And keeping it, though, in the offensive zone is Quebec, keeping it in the Jets' end, but finally a misplay. And it's going to be the Jets with possession here to the 10-minute mark in this 2-goal game. King and 7, that's Bobby Hall. Bobby Hall will feed it to a team player. Let's go Barry Long. Hall to Long with the 6, and that's a goal. He scores. Surprise goal there. 1-goal game now. Barry Long from Bobby Hall. And Bobby Hall. Hopefully I haven't been saying Brett. So Hall now up to 7 points, even more than Hedberg. Hall finished 3rd in team scoring, Hedberg 2nd. And Barry Long, before I forget. So 3 goals now for Winnipeg and 4 for Quebec. And try to make sure that I've not made too much of a mess of this. So, okay, you don't say. 4, 5, 6 in the sequence. Does that make sense? Yeah, because the secondary assist. Okay. Okay, so even if I put them back in the wrong order, it doesn't matter. So 8 to 9, that is going to be looking to tie the game. Willie Lindstrom, he gets it to Peter Sullivan. Sullivan with a 5 where he needed a 7 or greater. Up to the 15-minute mark here in the second period with the 8 and the 8. It is Quebec trying to get some get back. Matty Hagman. Hagman on to Tardif. That is certainly one way to do it. And that'll be a goal for Tardif from Hagman and Lariviere. Tardif from Hagman. Tardif now up to 7 goals here. Hagman to 5. And Lariviere with his second helper here. So I believe we would have a tie game now. Or no, sorry, not a tie. What am I talking about? What am I talking about? No, that's not it. It was a 1-goal game and not even a... Now it's a 2-goal game. Okay, got to get my stuff straight. Could that be here? Anyway, I'll play it all back and double check, but ace and 10 to ace. So that's Tardif getting it to Tardif, and Tardif just rips apart. Goes around the Winnipeg blue line like they are pylons. Tardif from Serge Bernier. My goodness. Okay, Tardif from Serge Bernier. Yes, that's like a... Wow, that's like a Superman dunk on ice. Anyway, Jack and Queen, which will work. Hedberg gets it through the Nordiques defense to 4 and 5. That's not going to work for Powys. So after 2 periods of play, your score, I'm pretty sure, I will double check, is the Nordiques actually with 6. With 6... and the Jets with 3. Because 2 late goals there from Quebec has made this a 6-3 affair after 2. Okay. Who says home ice doesn't matter in Doc? Now Winnipeg, now that I've said that. Peter Sullivan gets it to 6 and 3, so no dice there for Sullivan on the individual effort. Jack in 10, however, it's going to be Anders Hedberg. Hedberg sets up himself, and that will be a goal for Anders Hedberg from Willie Lindstrom. Hedberg, with his 5th, feels like he should have more in this, being 78 World Hockey Association. Willie Lindstrom picks up a point. Winnipeg maintains possession. Dave Kriskow with the Queen. That will get through. Kriskow through to Dan LeBrayton. LeBrayton needs better than a 4, and he doesn't get it. So 10 minutes here to go, though. 8 and 7, all Jets pretty much. That is Lindstrom getting it to Hedberg, and Hedberg with another goal here from Lindstrom. Hedberg with another goal from Lindstrom, and Moffat. Hedberg with his 6th now, probably a hat-trick from Lindstrom and Moffat. I'd have to play it back and double check. I didn't update goalies for Game 3. I'll just do that every 2 games. I gave Moffat his assist, yeah. First of the playoffs, so 10 minutes to go here. I'm not even going to look at the score. I'm just going to flip through. So Bernier gets it to Tardif. Oh my goodness, Tardif actually did not score. That's a rarity. 7 and Jack, so that's going to be jacked out. 5 minutes to go here. 10, 4, Sullivan, no way. And so the final 2.5 minutes now, King and 3. King and 3, that is Bobby Hall. Oh, wait, now I should see the score because they might force sudden death. So 21 by my calculations. That puts Winnipeg at 5 in the game. 19 by my calculations, that puts Quebec at 6, and I'm doing that by going, okay, Quebec scored 7, 10, and, 3, because 3 in game 1, so up to 10, and then 13, and they have 19 now, so they're at 6. Winnipeg again is at 5. This is a 6-5 game for Quebec, but Winnipeg, Bobby Hall, is this going to sudden death? Hall to a team player, not so bad for Winnipeg. 2 and King, that's Lars-Erik Sjoberg. So Hall to Sjoberg. This needs to be either an ace or a 5 to 10. And the Queen, so it's neither, but Richard Brodeur will surrender on any Queen, so ties it. a good jacket call in the Bossy tribute game. Lars-Erik Sjoberg has tied it here to send this into overtime. Woberg from Bobby Hall. And 5 of clubs. Anders Hedberg. So Hedberg, another helper for him. Hedberg's helper. So now he's tied with Bobby Hall in points. We're going to sudden death. The first sudden death all season for this. And because it's World Hockey Association, I don't expect this to last long. So we have a sudden death. We have a game 5. Ace and ace. Oh, no. Oh, no. Actually, wait, that's... so Winnipeg forced sudden death because they're trying to finish it in 4. Tardif has other ideas, but has he found the right guy? Norm Dubé. Dubé, finally, he had cold hands. Dubé scores here from Tardif. And after a bit of a scare there late for Quebec, Pauline Bordelot getting the so Dubé, his first goal in overtime winner to keep Quebec alive. And Pauline Bordelot picking up a second assist there. So we're going to a game 5. We have a game 5. And let's see how many minutes through 4 games this has been. Oh my goodness, 45 minutes. It doesn't feel like it's been 45 minutes. Anyway, if you can play a playoff series in an hour, even a best of 5, while talking, you have a pretty fast playing game. So into game 5, where again, probably just Bromley. You know what? Maybe Daly. Maybe Daly for game 5 back in Winnipeg. And who's rated the same as Bromley. And we're going to go Broder. I'm not even going to flip for that. Let's update the through 4 games, though, because this should be pretty easy to do. Winnipeg, there's been no empty netters. Winnipeg has scored 22 times. That works out to, goodness, 21 would be easier because 5.5. I feel like I should be able to do that math, though. No, it's still... Wait, 22. No, 5.5 and then 11. Yeah, no, that's right. So 22 goals against, so 5.5 goals against average. And it doesn't really matter anyway. 4 games, not 24. And 2, 2, and 0. It's just a little more fun as I'm going along, for me at least. And so 4 games for Broder. Oh, it's Broder with... Right. Bromley doesn't... his team isn't scoring on him. So Bromley is solid 5. And Quebec, that's 22. Richard Broder, whoops, 5.5. So, yeah, because that was an overtime, Quebec obviously has the worst differential of the 2 teams in this series, where, again, Game 4, I could update it. It was 7-6 in overtime. All right, 7-6 in overtime. Okay, so the 5th and final game here, 10-2, so that is going to be Quebec not able to get anything done. PJ, you might be right with your prediction. He said Quebec upset in 5. Let's see here, 3-6. That's Cloutier, but even Cloutier can't make anything happen from there, from that far back. So the 4 and the Queen, we have all Quebec. And that will actually penetrate the Jets' blue line, but 5-3, that's a non-scorer. So 5 and Joker back the other way. That's going to be Bobby Guindon. Bobby Guindon finds Kent Nelson. And Kent Nelson with a 6. That's going to be a goal. Kent Nelson from Bobby Guindon. And Kent Nelson from Bobby Guindon and Bobby Hull. We had the 2 Bobbies combining and helping out on a goal earlier. We have it here. Kent Nelson with just his 2nd. Bobby Hull now, 6 assists, somewhat uncharacteristic for him. And then Bobby Guindon with his 3rd point. Surprised Guindon has only 3. Feels like he's had more. He's factored into some chances. So 1-0 Winnipeg after all that hard work for Quebec. And the 2 and the 7's a team player. I'm going to say Baxter this time. Baxter with a 5, Quebec needs an 8, so this is basically canceled out. And we are 12.5 in, on to 15 now. We're King 10, that's Bobby Hull. Bobby Hull looking for another assist. Hull to Ulf Nilsson. Nilsson with his first goal here of the postseason from Bobby Hull and Peter Sullivan. Ulf Nilsson, 1 goal to go with his 10 assists. Bobby Hull now up to 10 points with the assist. And Peter Sullivan getting an assist as well. And 15 minutes, so 5 minutes to go here. We're 4-3. This is just a null play, and then 4-10. This, however, Quebec could finally get on the board here. Tardif to Tardif to Tardif. He scores from that's a solo effort, unassisted goal. So they do happen sometimes, like in real hockey. That's going to be Tardif basically thinking that he had to do it himself here to get Quebec on the board. Again, it was 22-20 after 4 games, so Quebec there with the 1 goal, and Winnipeg with the 2 goals. So this game is 2-1 Winnipeg after 1, and again, this is the critical game 5. It's win or go home in this game. So Anyway, with the 9 there, that is Winnipeg, but the Jack unable to get anything done from there, even against the Quebec defense. Had it been a red Jack, would have been a different story. 2 and 6, though, for Winnipeg. We're going to say Lyle Moffat. However, with the 3, that'll get through for the Winnipeg Jets. Moffat on to Kent Nelson, and Nelson with the guaranteed goal there. So 3-1 Winnipeg now. Nelson from Moffat, and Sullivan picking up another assist there. That was Kent Nelson, not Ulf, from Moffat getting his second assist there. And did I say Sullivan clubs in 8? Yes, I did. So Peter Sullivan here. Here's some movement in another room, so it distracted me a little bit there. The weather's not great today, so I decided to stay in and play more. I will go for that walk eventually. I finished the tower video. I have them here queued. If this is being picked up on. I'm like 30 some minutes into this one here, the Home and Home series with I Am Sporticus playing Stone Cold Hockey. And then I've got a Sportsman Bob Z Stratomatic Hockey. That's probably a listener. Graphically, Stratomatic isn't that impressive. However, Bob's a good listen. I know I don't always get over to the baseball and football and other sports that I follow less, but yeah, Bob's cool. So anyway, got ahead of myself here. I'm staring at a red Jack. What's going on here? So was this just what happened here? 3 and 4, and then I turned those over, I guess, because 3 and 4 just doesn't work, right? I hope. Oh goodness. Okay, where am I? I got talking about other things. So Winnipeg has 3 goals in the game. Quebec just has the 1. It was 2-1 after 1, so now it's 3-1. So, Jack, that's going to be Anders Hedberg, right? Because Nelson with the ace. Anders Hedberg with the 8. He sets up Dan LeBrayton. That's Brodeur can't stop a queen. He can't stop a queen. So, LeBrayton from Hedberg. And that's Bobby Guindon again, getting another helper there. So, LeBrayton, Hedberg, and Bobby. Guindon, not Hall. Is it 4-1 Winnipeg? I believe it is. So Queen and 7, that's Kent Nelson. Through Kent Nelson to a team player 2 and 9. We're going to say Kent Runke with a 4 where he needed a 5. So 6 though, Winnipeg maintains, and 6 and through to 3. And Joker, that's going to be a goal for Anders Hedberg from Barry Long. And Barry Long, so could only get 1 assist there on that goal. So he's up to 3 points now. Hedberg is up to 10 with that 7th goal. He and Hull are tied again in points. And, oh no. So that's, 27 from 22. And the Nordiques just 21 from 20. That spells 5-1. That adds up to 5-1 Winnipeg here late in the second period. The 9 and the 9. Quebec really has to get going, and they know it. It is Jean Bernier. Gets it to Bob Fitchner. Fitchner with a 4 fails. Quebec trying some other combinations here, and they're jokered out here at period's end. So it isn't insurmountable. However, the fact that it got to Game 5 in the first place, I would like to see a more competitive standing, a closer verdict from both teams. But as it stands, I'm like triple checking now. 5-1 Winnipeg after 2. So Quebec needs half the sequences. This is not helping. This is so not helping Quebec. Bobby Hull on to Kent Nelson. Nelson with the hat trick. That's got to be a hat trick, right? Kent Nelson. There we go. So you see, had I continued playing the regular season, Nelson would have played his way up to his totals anyway. It is Hull from both Nelsons. They seem to be doing that a lot. So the hotline's been broken up here. And did I say that Hull started this playoff? Yes, I did. So Nelson from Hull and Nelson, rather. Getting my Nelsons confused. Nelson from Ulf Nelson and Bobby Hull. And we play on. So 5 goals, still not insurmountable for Quebec. And it's going to be Christian Bordelot here with the 6, where Quebec needs an 8. So I also haven't had anything to eat in a while. I should probably go and do that actually after this. So Quebec, that's a null play, but 6 and Queen here haven't had anything to eat since breakfast. Now at 6 p.m. Trying to eat less, trying to drink less coffee. Anyway, 6 and Queen here, so that is Barry Long. Barry Long gets it to through Quebec and to the 10. The 10 and the ace, Willie Lindstrom. Oh no, heartbreaking for Quebec. Lindstrom, and he can't assist on the goal, so it's just going to be Lindstrom from long. Lindstrom from long. And I'm saying, oh no, more selfishly for myself at this point, because I'd like to see it close. I don't have a dog in this fight or a horse in this race or whatever. But horse in this race is slightly better. But yeah, this game is just, I don't want to say that it's done, so I'll just nod my head. 6-1 Quebec. Let's see if they can muster anything, though. They're still, trying to play for something, I guess. Playing for pride. They're playing for pride. So 8 and ace, that's Matty Hagman. Hagman, he's going to feed Cloutier with the ace. Cloutier does make a stand there. Cloutier for Matty Hagman and Jean Bernier. So for the first time in what feels like a while, we go over Cloutier, Matty Hagman. 6 assists now for him, and Jean Bernier picking up another point. But just 5 minutes to go here, and it's Winnipeg again. King 4, that's Bobby Hull. Bobby Hull to the 5 and the ace. Oh no. Ken Baird. Bobby Hull's been double shifting. And Ken Baird and Dave Kriskow are, well, Baird with the goal, Kriskow with the assist, are recipients of Bobby Hull's benevolence. So Baird with the goal, his first postseason point. Kriskow picking up a helper there. Some awesome hair, by the way, does he not have, PJet? It's like Planet of the Apes hair that Dave Kriskow has on the on that Washington Capitals hockey card that you posted. Anyway, Kriskow and wait a minute, what am I? Baird got the goal. Kriskow got the assist, as did Bobby Hull. That's right, isn't it? Go back here and check my work. Yeah, because King 4. Okay, it's academic at this point, but hey, it's Quebec. 9 kings, so that is Jean Bernier through to Riel Cloutier, who only needs a 2 to score. So Cloutier, he showed up for period 3, even if most of his team did not. Pauline Bordelot, no, that's it's Jack of Spades, sorry. Christian Bordelot, so wrong Bordelot there. So Cloutier with the goal from Christian Bordelot and Jean Bernier. And Quebec, I guess in the end they managed to put up 3, but the Winnipeg Jets have put up 8. 8-3 is your final score. And so the Jets will advance to the final as they did in real life Game 5. Though I might actually wait a while to post this and just post the video first. Maybe hold off on everything for the... I don't know, for the day. We shall see. Because I don't know, maybe posting the result before the... I feel like PJet wouldn't do that. So, if PJet's not going to do it, then neither should I. If PJet marches out of a Scrabble tournament and punches a sign. Oh, that's a funny story. A street sign or whatever. Or no, it was... what was it? It was like a lamp post or something. Anyway... hopefully you shared that publicly, so hopefully you're okay with me doing the same if anyone happens to hear that. But I think I have this all correct. It was Winnipeg, just to recap a series here, just in terms of game score. Winnipeg, where I think every home team won. Though the Nordiques needed overtime there to do it in Game 4. And Winnipeg just smashed Quebec in Game 5 there. The Nordiques couldn't get any more than 3 goals in Winnipeg. So there you have it. The Jets are going to advance to the Avco World Trophy Final. This is almost an hour. Anytime, any consideration you give to this, thank you very much for that, and bye for now.